Welcome guys, my name's Larissa Shanti with Shanti Moves. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time. Today we are going to be going over Chaturanga and plank pose. So these poses can be really tricky, especially in the beginning, you know. There's a lot going on. It takes a lot of strength and core power to kind of nail these poses. So bear with me through this tutorial. I'll be showing you plenty of modifications so we can really build up that strength to finally get you to that full Chaturanga one day. So if you'd like to join me, let's get down to the mat. Okay guys, so today we're going to be doing the fiery Chaturanga and plank pose. Bear with me through this one. There's a lot of different steps and a lot of ways to work up with it. So we're going to start from the beginning and then end in the full variation. So wherever you're at, you have something that you can do now and then something you can look forward to. So we're going to start in our tabletop position. So let's come into all fours. And then from here, we're just going to do a few cat-cows. But while you're in our cat-cows, I'm going to give you just some pauses so you can feel some actions of the body that we already naturally do in our cat-cows, but can be really helpful in our Chaturangas. So feet, knees underneath hips at hip width distance, hands underneath shoulders. And then on your inhale, start to drop your belly. Open up your heart, lift your head. Good. Then the exhale, we start from the tailbone, so tuck the tailbone, rounding all the way up through the upper back. Let the head drop last. Good, then inhale, start to drop the belly down, open up the heart, lift the head. Beautiful. Now let's pay attention here on this next one. So we're moving into our cat. So we start at the tailbone, right? So tuck that tailbone. Feel the action when you tuck the tailbone, how it brings the belly button up in towards the spine. Good, and then you continue to round all the way up, right? Let the head drop last. So we're really rounding that upper back. We're pressing our hands down into the mat. We're spreading our shoulder blades wide, so separate from each other, spreading away from each other. I like to imagine my backside of my heart lifting up and through my shoulder blades. Good, and then inhale, drop the belly, open up the heart, and lift the head. And at the same time too, we're keeping our shoulder blades down, our shoulders down, not going up towards our ears and getting all scrunched up there. So lengthen those shoulders down the back. Good. Inhale, drop the belly, open up the heart, lift the head just for a counter pose for our cow. And then again, let's do cat one more time. Tucking the tailbone, feeling that belly button go up and in towards the spine. Then rounding through the upper back, spreading those shoulder blades, pressing the hands into the mat, letting the head hang. Good. And then relax back into our neutral spine. So what I want you to remember there is tucking the tailbone, belly button coming in, and then pressing the hands, rounding the upper back slightly, shoulder blades spreading apart, right? So that's what we call protraction of the hand. So come sit on your heels with me. Press the hands out in front of you. And then reach the hands as far away as you can. You can feel the shoulder blades spreading apart, right? That's what we call protraction. Then bring the shoulder blades back together. And that's what we call retraction. So pushing forward, spreading them apart, protraction. Bringing them back, retraction. Cool. So now that we've kind of got those little tiny mechanics of the body figured out, we can take that into our chaturanga. So we're gonna do plank pose first. So we'll come to our tabletop, then just start to slip the knees back a few inches there. Tuck that tailbone, so remember scooping the tailbone under, the belly button comes up and in. Then kind of just shift the weight forward a little bit, sinking the hips down, don't go all the way, so just slightly sinking. And then this is our half plank, right? It's pretty fiery in the arms and in the core. So working from there, if that's where you are at today. Good, coming back. And then we're gonna reset here and we're gonna go into our full plank. So first we did half plank, now we're at full plank. So again, let's start with our tabletop. Then we're gonna extend our left leg back, tuck those toes, and then take the right leg back with it. Good, so now we're in our full plank. So remember pressing those hands into the mat, spreading the shoulder blades wide, slightly rounded in the upper back. Not fully like cat, but just slight roundedness. And then we want to make sure that the hips are level with our shoulders. So we're not sinking down in the hips and we're not lifting up too high in the hips. So right around level with the shoulders. Beautiful. And then another tip here, reaching through the heels. So we're engaging the legs muscles, trying to send those heels to the back side of your mat. And then reaching through the crown of the head, taking the shoulders down the back. And then we're in this really nice engaged staff-like pose. Good. And lower down, take a break, maybe send it into child's pose. Beautiful, so that is our plank. And plank is the start of our chaturanga. So we always start up in plank, and then we slowly release down into our chaturanga. So to come into our chaturanga, we come into our plank. So we start in our tabletop, extend that left leg back, and then the right, coming into our plank, press the hands into the mat, spreading the shoulder blades. Hips are level with the shoulders, reach through the heels, reach the crown. Good. Now just drop the knees down, and we still are in our half plank now. So this is our half chaturanga. Let's pick the toes up, and then we're gonna bend the elbows, squeezing them against the rib cage, lowering yourself down to the mat. Release the feet, and then maybe you wanna come up to a baby cobra. Inhale up to baby cobra. Good, exhale, back down. It's nice to do a little baby cobra, kind of stretches those abdominals out after we contracted them. Beautiful, and then make your way back up. So we're gonna do that one more time with half chaturanga. So another thing that I wanted to say here before we get going, give you a little break, is chaturanga is part of our vinyasa, right? So I think I mentioned in the opening that sometimes when you're in a class, you'll hear a teacher say, move through your vinyasa. So this is what they're talking about. So traditionally, we start in plank, exhale down to chaturanga, inhale to cobra or up dog, and then we all usually meet in down dog or child's pose sometimes. And that is the 3-pose vinyasa that they're talking about. So there's many modifications that we can do for our vinyasa throughout our practice. And these are a couple of them. So let's come back to our tabletop. Shift the knees back, coming into our half plank. So tuck the tailbone, belly button comes up and in. Push the hands into the mat, lifting the heart. Good. Elbows bend back, slowly lower, all the way down. Good. Inhale up to a baby cobra if that feels good. Exhale back down. All right, so now I'm gonna demonstrate the full Chaturanga. All right, it's kind of like a yogi push-up. So we're gonna come to our tabletop, send the left leg back, then the right leg. Hover in your plank, get nice and strong, take a nice deep inhale, and then exhale, lower down, elbows squeezing in, and then we want our shoulders to be level with our elbows. Then inhale, press back up into your plank. Good, we're gonna do that one more time. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, elbows bend, squeezing elbows together. Shoulders level with elbows. Inhale, come back up. Good, knees come in. Maybe roll the wrists out if you want. Good, so I'm gonna be demonstrating up dog in our next series, or our next episode coming out. So we'll get the full vinyasa after that episode airs. So stay tuned for that. Few modifications, all right? So one of the things that tends to be scary for people is when we lower down, we're afraid we're just gonna collapse and smack our face on the floor, which might be the case. It won't hurt because you're not that far and you got your nice cushy mat underneath you. But to help mitigate that fear, you can use a bolster, you can use a blanket, you can use a pillow, you can use whatever other squishy, soft objects you have in your house. Place them on your mat and then come over your squishy, soft objects. Come into your tabletop. Take your half plank or maybe full plank. And then on the exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze them towards the ribs, lower all the way down, but then, you get to lower down onto this nice supportive surface. And then on the inhale, engage the legs, push yourself back up. So working from here onto your squishy surface and then back up is really gonna help build those muscles you need to do it without the pillow or something underneath you. If the squishy pillow isn't enough, you can raise it up using blocks. So again, you can do this in half plank, all the way down, and then up. You can do it in full plank, all the way down, and then up. Perfect. So those are my options for you there. I did do a video already that kind of goes more into the elbow flexion extension that is also really tricky for people. People want to flare out the elbows a lot, or they bend back and collapse with the elbows. So I already made a video with that. I will link it above. So if you feel like your elbows are flaring out or you feel like your elbows are collapsing, check that video out. I hope it's super helpful. I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. And if you got some benefit from it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps. Thank you so much. Until next time, namaste. If you're new, I have a yoga channel. Watch it. With Larissa Shanti. Come down.